Welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique. Today I'm going to show you a wreath that we've done here on the channel before, but it was an old Facebook Live, and so today I want to show you how to make it in a kind of a easier way to understand, and I'm going to cover all the bases on this wreath. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to leave the links in the description box below of where you can purchase the mesh. So let's get started and have fun making this wreath. Okay, so we're back with another flower tutorial, and this is a flower tutorial that I've done before, but here's the key. I did this in a Facebook Live probably 2 to 3 years ago, and then I uploaded it to YouTube. Back then, I did not know how to edit a video to save my life and had no clue, but I had figured out how to download a Facebook Live and upload it to Facebook, or to YouTube, sorry. But here's the thing, those types of videos are generally anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour long. And if you're like me, I'm just gonna be honest, I don't wanna sit and watch an hour-long video. I don't wanna sit and watch a 45-minute video. I wanna watch a video. I know that some of my videos can get up to 30 minutes. I think my bow video is 40 minutes. But I wanna watch a video where I can get through the process and learn how to make something and not spend an hour on YouTube to watch it, okay? I'm just gonna be honest. So this is why I film my videos, I edit my videos, and I don't stream my videos, okay? Because my attention span would be gone after the first 10 minutes. It would be gone. So my hope here is to do a lot of those different flowers that I did a few years ago on Facebook that you guys have patiently watched and watched me as a hot mess. Let me tell you, you guys have been so great. But I want to try to put them together in a shorter version of a video for you. And since then, sometimes some of the products aren't available, so we might have to kind of tweak it just a little bit. So let's talk about what we're going to use. We're going to use a 10-inch wreath form, and you're probably saying, Julie, I can't find these. Well, guess what? There's a website called createforless.com, and I will share the link in the description box below. And you can buy these at like a bundle of 10 at a time. You can't buy them singly, but you can buy like 10 frames at a time. But this is what I do know, that Trendy Tree will have these in stock hopefully in May of 2021. So you can check with Trendy Tree. Now, the next thing we're going to work with, we're going to use 3 different types of mesh. Now, the first one is this poly burlap check mesh. I'm going to leave a link for it down in the description box below with the item number. It's kind of got a beige feel, and it's kind of like that window pane look. We're going to talk about how to cut this in a moment. The second one is a fabric mesh. Now, this is a 10-inch. I have not had any luck finding this exact mesh. I don't know if it's because they don't make it anymore or what, but there is a good alternative, and I'm going to leave you that link as well. And then lastly, we're going to use a cream colored 10-inch poly burlap. And again, I'm going to see if I can find a link for this. Now, I do like to shop at Trendy Tree and the Wreath Shop, and those links are in the description box below. We're going to use 8-inch zip ties. We're going to use, let's see, a coaster. I get these by like a 10-pack or something like that at Hobby Lobby. These are about 4.5 inches in diameter, and I use this size just simply because it just feels like the perfect size and it's just easy to do. You're going to need some felt. As you can see, I'm just using a scrap felt here. And then we're going to use this roping. I started using this roping a few years back from Hobby Lobby. It's usually $9.99. Get it when it's half price, okay? You can usually get, if you use this size of center, I can get 3 of the centers out of here. So for $5, I get this and I can make 3 centers. So let's get started. Okay, so first off, we're going to cut the check mesh here, and there is a little bit of a key to cutting this. As you can see, this end is all kind of messed up, so we're going to make it, and we're going to start fresh here. So I'm going to just kind of cut in between the section here, and as you can see, I went over a little bit too much there, and then it cuts. Now, I'm using a wood burner. As you can see, it's smoking. It's important to wear a mask. If you can see that that is a chisel tip, okay? That is the tip that I'm using. I'm using a glass cutting board that I got off of Amazon. I have them in my Amazon shop. I don't know how much they are right now, but you can always check my Amazon shop link and check under wreath making must-haves. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get as close to 10 inches as we can. We're not going to cut in between the open space because then it just kind of leaves this kind of little gap here, and we don't want that. And I'm going to kind of show you that in a moment here. So I'm going to do it as close to the 20 inches, which is right here. So that's 10 inch. So we need 10 inches, you know, of our cut. So I'm going to cut in between. So they're not going to be quite 10 inches. But if I can get them close enough to 10 inches, that's all that matters, all right? So it's going to be off just a little bit, all right? So I'm going to cut, let's see, I need 20 cuts of this mesh. So I'm going to cut all of these, and then I'm going to cut, oh, let me think, I need at least about 17 of the cream colored. And then the other mesh here, this has natural jute in it, so I can't use a wood burner with this. So I'm going to cut this with a rotary cutter. And this is going to be cut at 10 inches as well. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this is a metal I've done on many of my wreaths, and I'm just going to show you quickly how to put it together the most simple way that I know how. So I take a coaster size plastic canvas, and these are about 4.5, maybe 4.25 in diameter. I take some felt, a double piece, and I'm just going to, I know my scissors have seen better days here, but I'm just going to cut around the felt like so. And I'm going to keep some of a scrap of this because we're going to need it for the back. I don't always throw away all my felt scrap because I use it for little different things like this. So let's just cut a piece of it off right here. All right. That should work just fine. All right. And then what we're going to do is we are going to open up that felt, and then I'm just going to take my glue gun here, and I'm going to put, this is Gorilla Glue. So I'm going to just put this piece of plastic canvas in the middle. I love my glue gun. I do have that in my affiliate shop on Amazon as well. So I put one piece of canvas there. Oops, I touched that a little bit too much. And then I just lay the other piece of felt over top of it. So basically this gives us a starting point for our middle, okay? So it doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to see this part. So then the next step I do is I take one of my little pair of scissors here, and these I've had for years, literally. Again, I have these in my shop as well on Amazon, and I poke a hole on each side here. And then I take my, I believe this is 22 gauge wire stems. I get them from Walmart, and you can get it like a bunch of them for a couple dollars. It's just a really good deal. So I take it, and then now it goes through, and that's what's going to go through our flower. Now, this is the part I want you to be really careful with, okay? So we have this, and I'm going to take the roping, and the key to this is getting it started, all right? So what I want to do is I want to start in the middle. I'm going to put some glue down. And this is the key, is getting this rope on here. So I kind of start it, oh, we got a little piece there. All right, I'm gonna hold it down and be careful. And then I'm gonna take my glue gun. Oh, it needs another glue stick, hold on. Should have looked at that before I started. Okay, yeah, there we go. And I'm gonna put a little bit of glue over the edge of the end of my roping. All right, I'm gonna use these scissors to kind of help hold it down. All right, and I'm gonna roll it, and I'm gonna make sure it goes over top. And I'm gonna squeeze it together. And you're just gonna sit here with it like so until this is nice and secure. So this is gonna take me a moment. So, okay, so I feel like I have it. It's gonna stay put. So I'm gonna just come around, and I'm gonna put a little bit of glue. And you're just going to do sections, and you're going to kind of hold it, all right? Once you get it started, it goes a lot faster, okay? But you're going to just want to keep holding it, and you're just going to keep going around. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep going around my center point here. And I kind of put it on its side. Can you kind of notice that? I'm kind of gluing it down to its side and not so much of it being flat. So I'm going to keep going around until I get to the end, and then I'll show you how to finish this off on the back. Okay, so as you can see, I'm getting to the end of it here, and then by the time you're on this side, you're really just putting the glue on the rope and not so much your base. So you're just gonna look at it. I always wrap it a little bit ahead and see at what point do I wanna make it go around to kind of make the circle look complete. And I think that's about good. I don't know, maybe look at it a little bit more. What's important is to keep it pretty close. So I think that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. Now I have these multi-cutters and they are really handy. I have 2 different kinds of these in my Amazon shop, but they're very sharp and very heavy duty for things like this. As you can see, I've got some orange poly burlap on the blades. So you can check that out in my Amazon shop. Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of press this a little bit closer and we're gonna just glue it some more, and then we're gonna take the glue back to the back here. So now that I'm gonna put it, I'm gonna put a thin layer of glue on the back of it, like here, and kind of like where it's gonna lay. All right. And then a last piece of like a way to secure it is I take that piece of felt that I told you to cut out and I put some glue. Again, Gorilla Glue sticks are really the best way to go because they can handle the heat as well. So anyway, so I'm gonna let that all dry. I'm gonna kind of hold this in, make sure it dries, and then it'll be ready for our center. So I took my 10-inch wreath frame, and yes, you can use the new 10-inch wreath frames. You can get those at the Wreath Shop and Trinity Tree as well. Links are in the description box below. I ended up using the plastic canvas mesh, and this again you can get at like Hobby Lobby in the yarn and embroidery section, and they are also, I believe they have it at the Wreath Shop and Trinity Tree as well. So that's what I used. I just cut it out and I attached it to the frame. So now let's get started on the petals. For this wreath, we're going to use 2 different petals. First, we're going to use the daisy petal, and that is the petal by Dean Michael Designs. I've mentioned her many times, and I'm just going to put this mesh over here and get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus with this check mesh on the outside of our wreath, okay? So what are we going to do? These are not exactly 10-inch by 10-inch, okay? Because I had to have some allowances on how to cut it. That's okay. What we're going to do is I'm going to take the finished side here, the finished side here, right and left. I'm going to bring it over, but not that much, okay? So you're going to make a triangle, and as you can see, there, it goes over just a tad. That's okay. We're going to gather it down here at the base of our triangle, okay? And then we're going to just shape it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to start on this wire and this cross bracket. We're going to start on wire 2, okay? I'm going to take my zip tie, and this is how we're going to get it started. All right. Put it right here and attach. Okay. The first one is always a little bit of a picky one. But I feel like once I get the petal started, it's a little bit easier to lay your zip ties in. All right, so we're going to cut that one. So basically what we're going to do is you're going to put 1 on each of the cross bracket and 2 in between the cross brackets. So what I'll do now is I'll just like lay one right here, take another piece. Again, I'm going to put the finished sides to the right and left for me here. I'm going to make a triangle. I'm going to gather it. And I'm simply going to just kind of play with the petal a little bit, kind of go over top of each other here. And then I'm going to lay it in the spot right here. So I'm going to keep doing this until I have a full 15 of these petals that go around this wreath, okay? Okay, for the second layer of the petals, we're going to use a combination of 2 petals. We're going to use the daisy petal and my basic petal, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the cream colored poly burlap. And again, you could use any color. If you found this in like hot pink or something, a check mesh, and then wanted to do different colors, go ahead, be creative. This is just a certain style of wreath that I sell quite a bit of, and it's a very popular seller for me. And it's it's really honestly one of my favorites. So what I'm going to do is we're going to work on bar 3. So we have bar 1. We didn't do anything to bar 1. We connected to bar 2. So now we're going to work on bar 3. So what are we going to do? I'm going to put one petal right in between. Here's the bracket and that petal, okay? So we want one right beside each of the brackets, okay? So you have a bracket here and a bracket here. Now, if you have some of these frames that don't have 5 sections, that's okay. Just make sure you have 2 petals right here. And you're gonna put one petal here and one petal there. And then we're gonna put one petal in between these 2. But the matching petals are gonna be here and here. So if you do have the 5 bracket, know that the bracket petal is here and the bracket petal is there. Now we're going to put 2 in there. So I'm going to just do my single petal, finish on the bottom, finish on the top, meet in the middle, gather, flip it over, and just slightly put the left side of the petal over the right side. Pinch it at the bottom and lay it in the first part of the zip tie here. All right. We'll clip that one. Now we're going to put one on this side. And if you have any difficulties with these petals, I do have a basic petal tutorial, and it covers all the different petals I've done so far on YouTube. All right, so now that we have these 2 in place here, okay, now I'm going to go back in between. I'm going to push the 2 petals apart there, and we're going to put one over top. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this mesh again, and we are going to just do the daisy petal, okay? I'm going to gather it. Oh, I probably should have put my zip tie in first, but I didn't. It's okay. I can hold 2 things at once. And you know what? This one, I didn't attach it to the bar, guys. I'm going to have to do that one again. Oh my goodness, that is funny. All right, that's okay. I'm going to turn this one around. I'm going to pull it. And then I'm going to get a zip tie and actually put this one. I attached it to the mesh, but not underneath the bar there. So that's okay. We'll fix it. Now it's fixed. Now it's not going anywhere. All right, so this petal is going to lay over top of the 2 single petals. So you've got a single layer, and then a daisy petal over top in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the rest of the 4 sections. I'm going to mimic the same thing I just did here in each 4 section, and then I'll be back. Okay, so you can see we have the second layer done. Now we need to do the 3rd and final layer. Now for this one, we're going to do the daisy petal, but we're going to layer an ivory piece or a cream piece, whatever you like to call it, and one of our checked piece. Now, the reason why I do this is because I feel like when you put a basic color behind the fabric mesh, that it just makes the pattern pop a little bit more versus if you were to do it like that. I don't feel like you see it as well. So what we do is we're going to layer these. Now, because this has natural jute in this particular mesh, I can't fuse this, but I'm going to leave my playlist on how to fuse petals together down below. And then that way, if you do choose a mesh that is more compatible with fusing it, it just saves you a step. And it's just a really nice and easy way to put your petals together. So I'm going to take my zip tie first. I'm going to lay that over there. I'm going to get prepared first this time. And I'm just going to simply put my zip tie in about 1 inch into the frame. And we're going to work on that plastic grid, and we're just going to go around. Now, generally, this is 7 to 8 petals. So what we're going to do is we're going to see how many petals we're going to need at the end of this. So I'm going to have my finished side on both of the right and the left, and I'm going to come and I'm going to do that daisy petal once again, and I'm just going to gather it. All right, and then sometimes I like to fold under the sides there, and I'm just going to twist it around, and I'm going to put it right where my zip tie is. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put at least 7 of these petals side by side. I'm going to overlap them just slightly, but I want it to have that daisy petal look, so we're not going to overlap them too much. Okay, so all I used was 7 petals here. Sometimes I do 8. It just kind of depends on how I space everything out and so forth, okay? So we have our middle already made, so we're just going to take our wires and you're just going to find a spot for it to go down into the mesh and into the canvas mesh below. And you're just going to pull it through. So we're just going to push it through. I'm going to pull up on my wires. I'm going to twist, and then I'm just going to poke them right back in here. Okay, so that should be good and on the wreath. Now, how do you cover the back of your wreath, Julie? A lot of you asked me this question. I take a piece of felt, I trace it out with the wreath frame, I fold it over. I just use a scallop edge for my rotary cutter, and I am just going to poke holes, one there, one there. Got glue on my scissors here, so it's not going through all the way. All right, and then I take it and I don't glue this on because they're gonna hang this wreath from the wreath frame itself. I'm not gonna create a loop. I'm gonna take zip ties and I'm going to attach it with my zip ties. I'll do one side and then I'll go over here and do the other side. Make sure it goes on the right way. And then I'll finish by going around with the zip ties. I'll clip these off and then I will just flip those zip ties over. So I will finish this up. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Again, this is a remake of a wreath that I did a long time ago that was a Facebook Live, but I wanted to kind of make a more condensed video for you guys. So number 1, thank you for watching. Number 2, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you'll always know when I have a new tutorial out. I do my best to do Sunday nights and some Wednesday nights now, and usually it drops around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you join me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest under Julie's Wreath Boutique. Make sure you join my wreath group on Facebook called Wreath Creators and More. And if you made it this far in the video, you know I'm going to ask you to leave an emoji. So what kind of emoji I'm going to ask? I'm going to ask for some sort of animal emoji because this is a farmhouse style wreath. Leave me some sort of farm animal, okay? And if other people get puzzled by why they're in the comments, that's okay. I know that you watched till the end. So anyways, until next time, we will see you later on Julie's Wreath Boutique. Bye-bye.